Hello everybody, welcome to this series of audiobook of class 11th and 12th NCERT Biology. This is chapter 20 of class 11th, which is locomotion and movement. Movement is one of the significant features of living beings. Animals and plants exhibit a wide range of movements. Streaming of protoplast in the unicellular organism like amoeba is a simple form of movement. Movement of cilia, flagella and tentacles are shown by many organisms. Human being can move limbs, jaws, eyelids, tongue, etc. Some of the movement result in a change of place or location. Such voluntary movements are called locomotion. Walking, running, climbing, flying, swimming are all some form of locomotory movement. Locomotory structure need not to be different from those affecting other types of movement. For example, in Paramecium, cilia helps in the movement of food through cytopharynx and in locomotion as well. Hydra can use its tentacles for capturing its prey and also use them for locomotion. We use limbs for change in body posture and locomotion as well. The above observations suggest that movement and locomotion cannot be studied separately. The two may be linked by stating that all locomotion are movement, but all movements are not locomotions. Method of locomotion performed by animals vary with their habitats and the demand of the situation. However, locomotion is generally for search of food, shelter, mate, suitable breeding grounds, favorable climate condition, or to escape from enemies, predators. Types of movement. Cells of the human body exhibit three main types of movement, namely amoeboid, ciliary, and muscular. Some specialized cells in our body like macrophages and leukocytes in blood exhibit amoeboid movement. It is affected by pseudopodia formed by the streaming of protoplasm as in amoeba. Cytoskeleton elements like microfilaments are also involved in amoeboid movement. Ciliary movement occurs in most of our internal tubular organs which are lined by ciliated epithelium. The coordinate movement of the cilia in the trachea help us in removing dust particle and some of the foreign substances inhaled along with the atmospheric air. Passage of ova through the female reproductive tract is also facilitated by the ciliary movement. Movement of our limbs, jaws, tongue, etc. are require muscular movement. The contractile property of muscle are effectively used for locomotion and other movement by human beings and majority of multicellular organisms. Locomotion require a perfect coordinate activity of muscular, skeletal and neural system. In this chapter, you will learn about the type of muscle, their structure, mechanism of their contraction and important aspects of the skeletal system. Muscle. Muscle is a specialized tissue of mesodermal origin. About 40 to 50% of the body weight of human adult is contributed by muscle. They have special properties like excitability, contractility, extensibility and elasticity. Muscle have been classified using different criteria, namely locomotion, appearance and nature of regulation of their activities based on their location. Three types of muscle are identified. First skeletal, second visceral and third cardiac. Skeletal muscle are closely associated with the skeletal components of the body. They have a striated appearance under the microscope and hence are called striated muscle as their activities are under the voluntary control of the nervous system. They are known as voluntary muscles too. They are primarily involved in locomotory action and changes of the body posture. Visceral muscle are located in the inner wall of hollow visceral organ of the body like alimentary canal, reproductive tract, etc. They do not exhibit any striated and are smooth in appearance. Hence, they are called smooth muscle, non-striated muscle. Their activities are not under the voluntary control of the nervous system and are therefore known as involuntary muscle. They assist, for example, in the transportation of food through the digestive tract and gametes through the genital tract. As the name suggests, cardiac muscle are the muscle of heart. Many cardiac muscle cells assemble in a branching pattern to form a cardiac muscle. Based on appearance, cardiac muscle are striated. They are involuntary in nature as the nervous system does not control their activities directly. Let us examine a skeletal muscle in detail to understand the structure and mechanism of contraction. Each organized skeletal muscle in our body is made up of number of muscle bundles or fascicles held together by a common collagenous connective tissue layer called fascia. Each muscle bundle contains a number of muscle fibers. Each muscle fiber is lined by the plasma membrane called sarcolemma, enclosing the sarcoplasm. Muscle fiber is syncytium as the sarcoplasm contains many nuclei. The endoplasmic reticulum, that is sarcoplasmic reticulum of the muscle fiber, is the storehouse of calcium ion. A characteristic feature of the muscle fiber is the presence of a large number of parallelly arranged filaments in the sarcoplasm and myofilaments or myofibrils. Each myofibrils has alternate dark and light band on it. A detailed study of the myofibril has established their striated appearance is due to the distribution pattern of two important proteins, actin and myosin. The light band contains actin and is called I band or isotropic band, whereas the dark band called A or anisotropic band contains myosin. Both the proteins are arranged as rod-like structures parallel to each other and also to the longitudinal axis of the myofibrils. Actin filaments are thinner as compared to the myosin filament, hence are commonly called thin and thick filament respectively. In the center of each I band is an elastic fiber called Z line which bisect each. The thin filament are firmly attached to the Z line. The thick filament in the A band are also held together in the middle of this band by a thin fibrous membrane called M line. The A and I bands are arranged alternatively throughout the length of myofibrils. The portion of myofibrils between two successive Z lines is considered as the functional unit of contraction and is called as sarcomere. In a resting state, the edges of thin filament on either side of thick filament partially overlap the free ends of the thick filament, leaving the central part of the thick filament. The central part of the thick filament not overlapped by thin filament is called the H zone. Structure of contractile proteins. Each actin thin filament is made up of two F filamentous actins helically bonded to each other. Each F actin is a polymer of monomeric G globular actins. Two filaments of another protein, tropomyosin, also run close to the F actin throughout its length. A complex protein, troponin, is distributed at regular intervals on the tropomyosin. In the resting state, a subunit of troponin makes the active binding site for myosin on the actin filament. Each myosin thick filament is also a polymerized protein. Many monomeric proteins called meromyosin constitute one thick filament. Each meromyosin has two important parts, a globular head which is a short arm and a tail, the former being called the heavy meromyosin HMM and the latter the light meromyosin LMM. The HMM component, that is the head and short arm, project outward at regular distance and angle from each other from the surface of polymerized myosin filament and is known as cross arm. The globular head is an active ATPase enzyme and has binding site for ATP and active site for actin. Mechanism of muscle contraction. Mechanism of muscle contraction is best explained by the sliding filament theory, which states the contraction of a muscle fiber take place by the sliding of the thin filament over the thick filament. Muscle contraction is initiated by the signal sent by the central nervous system CNS via a motor neuron. A motor neuron along with the muscle fiber connected to it constitute a motor unit. The junction between a motor neuron and the sarcolemma of the muscle fiber is called the neuromuscular junction or motor end plate. A neural signal reaching this junction release a neurotransmitter acetylcholine which generates an action potential into the sarcolemma. This spreads through the muscle fiber and causes the release of calcium ion into the sarcoplasm. Increase in Ca++ level leads to the binding of calcium with a subunit of troponin on actin filament and thereby remove the masking of active site of myosin. Utilizing the energy from ATP hydrolysis, the myosin head now binds to the exposed active site on actin to form a cross bridge. These pulls the attached actin filaments toward the center of A band. The Z line attached to these actins are also pulled inward, thereby by causing a shortening of sarcomere, that is contraction. It is clear from the above step that during shortening of the muscle, that is contraction, the I bands get reduced where the A bands retain the length. The myosin releasing the ADP and P1 goes back to its relaxed state. A new ATP binds and the cross bridges is broken. The ATP is again hydrolyzed by the myosin head and the cycle of cross bridge formation and breakage is repeated, causing further sliding. The process continues till the Ca++ ion are pumped back to the sarcoplasmic cisterine, resulting in the masking of actin filaments. These cause the return of Z line back to their original position, that is relaxation. The reaction time of the fibers can vary in different muscle. Repeated activation of the muscle can lead to the accumulation of lactic acid due to the anaerobic breakdown of glycogen in them, causing fatigue. Muscle contains a red colored oxygen storing pigment called myoglobin. Myoglobin content is high in some of the muscle which give a reddish appearance. Such muscle are called the red fibers. These muscle also contain plenty of mitochondria which can utilize a large amount of oxygen stored in them for ATP production. These muscles therefore can also be called aerobic muscles. On the other hand, some of the muscle possesses very less quantity of myoglobin and therefore appear pale or whitish. These are the white fibers. Number of mitochondria are also few in them, but the amount of sarcoplasmic reticulum is high. They depend on anaerobic process for energy. Skeletal system. Skeletal system consists of a framework of bones and a few cartilages. This system has a significant role in movement shown by the body. Imagine chewing food without jaw bones and walking around without the limb bones. Bone and cartilage are a specialized connective tissue. The former has a very hard matrix due to calcium salt in it and the latter has a slightly pliable matrix due to conjoitin salts. In human beings, this system is made up of 206 bones and few cartilages. It is grouped into two principal divisions, the axial and the appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton comprises 80 bones distributed along the main axis of the body. The skull, vertebral column, sternum and ribs constitute axial skeleton. The skull is composed of two sets of bones, cranial and facial, that totals 222 bones. Cranial bones are 8 in number. They form the hard protective outer covering, cranium for the brain. The facial region is made up of 40 skeleton elements which form the front part of the skull. A single U-shaped bone called hyoid is present at the base of the buccal cavity and it is also included in the skull. Its middle ear contains 3 tiny bones, malleus, incus and stapes, collectively called ear ossicles. The skull region articulates with the superior region of the vertebral column with the help of two occipital condyles, dicondylic skull. Our vertebral column is formed by 26 serially arranged units called vertebrae and is dorsally placed. It extends form the base of the skull and constitute the main framework of the trunk. Each vertebra has a central hollow portion neural canal through which the spinal cord passes. First vertebra is the atlas and it articulates with the occipital condyles. The vertebral column is differentiated into cervical 7, thoracic 12, luminar 5, sacral 1 fused and coccygeal 1 fused regions starting from the skull. The number of cervical vertebrae are 7 in almost all mammals, including human beings. The vertebral column protect the spinal cord, support the head and serve at the point of attachment of the ribs and musculature of the back. Sternum is a flat bone on the ventral midline of thorax. There are 12 pair of ribs. Each rib is thin flat bone connected dorsally to the vertebral column and ventrically to the sternum. It has two articulation surface on its dorsal end and is hence called bicephalic. First 7 pair of ribs are called true ribs. Dorsally they are attached to the thoracic vertebra and ventrally connected to the sternum with the help of hyaline cartilage. The 8th, ninth, and 10th pairs of ribs do not articulate directly with the sternum but join the 7th rib with the help of hyaline cartilage. These are called vertebrochondrial false ribs. Last two pairs 11th and 12th of ribs are not connected ventrally and are therefore called floating ribs. Thoracic vertebrae, ribs and sternum together from the rib cage. The bones of the limbs along with their grindles constitute the appendicular skeleton. Each limb is made up of 30 bones. The bones of the hand, forelimbs are humerus, radius and ulna. Carpals, wrist bone 8 in number, metacarpals, palm bone 5 in number and phalanges, digits 14 in number. Femur, thigh bone the longest bone, tibia and fibula, tarsala, ankle bone 7 in number. Metatarsals 5 in number and phalanges digits 14 in number are the bones of the legs hind limb. A cup-shaped bone called patella cover the knee ventrally kneecap. Pectoral and pelvic girdle bone help in articulation of the upper and lower limbs respectively with the axial skeleton. Each girdle is formed of two halves. Each half of pectoral girdle consists of a clavicle and a scapula. Scapula is a large triangular flat bone situated in the dorsal part of the thoracic between the second and the seventh ribs. The dorsal flat triangular body of scapula has a slightly elevated ridge called the spine which project as a flat expanded process called acromion. The clavicle articulates with this. Below the acromion is a depression called the glenoid cavity which articulates with the head of the humerus to form the shoulder joint. Each clavicle is a long slender bone with two curvatures. This bone is commonly called the collarbone. Pelvic girdle consists of two coxal bones. Each coxal bone is formed by the fusion of three bones, ilium, ischium and pubis. At the point of fusion of above bones is a cavity called acetabulum to which the thigh bones articulates. The two halves of the pelvic girdle meet ventrally to form the pubic symphysis containing fibrous cartilage. Joints. Joints are essential for all type of movement involving the body part of the body. Locomotory movement are no exception to this. Joints are point of contact between bones or between bones and cartilage. Force generated by the muscle in used to carry out movement through joint where the joint act as fulcrum. The movability at these joints vary depending on different factors. Joints have been classified into three major structural forms, namely fibrous, cartilaginous and synovial. Fibrous joints do not allow any movement. This type of joint is shown by the flat skull bone which fuse end to end with the help of dense fibrous connective tissue in the form of sutures to form the cranium. In cartilaginous joint, The bones involved are joined together with the help of cartilages. The joint between the adjacent vertebra in the vertebral column is of this pattern and it permits limited movement. Synovial joints are characterized by the presence of a fluid-filled synovial cavity between the articulating surface of the two bones. Such an arrangement allows considerable movement. These joints help in locomotion and many other movements. Ball and socket joint between humerus and pectoral girdle, hinge joint, knee joint, pivot joint between atlas and axis, gliding joint between the carpals, and saddle joint between carpal and metacarpal of thumb are some examples. Disorder of muscular and skeletal system. Myasthenia gravis, autoimmune disorder affecting neuromuscular junction leading to fatigue, weakening and paralysis of skeletal muscle. Muscular dystrophy, progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle mostly due to genetic disorder. Tetany, rapid spasms while contraction in muscle due to low Ca++ in body fluid. Arthritis, inflammation of joints. Osteoporosis, age-related disorder characterized by decreased bone mass and increased chance of fractures. Decreased level of estrogen is a common cause. Gout, inflammation of joint due to accumulation of uric acid crystals. Summary: movement is an essential feature of all living beings. Protoplasmic streaming, ciliary movement, movement of fins, limbs, wings, etc. are some forms exhibited by animals. A voluntary movement which causes the animal to change its place is called locomotion. Animals move generally in search of food, shelter, mate, breeding ground, better climate or to protect themselves. The cell of the human body exhibit amoeboid, ciliary and muscular movement. Locomotion and many other body parts require coordinate muscular activities. Three types of muscles are present in our body. Skeletal muscles are attached to skeletal elements. They appear striated and are voluntary in nature. Visceral muscles present in the inner wall of visceral organ are non-striated and involuntary. Cardiac muscles are the muscle of the heart. They are striated, branched and involuntary. Muscle possesses stability, contractibility, extensibility and elasticity. Muscle fiber is the anatomical unit of muscle. Each muscle fiber has many parallelly arranged myofibrils. Each myofibril contains many serially arranged units called sarcomere, which are the functional unit. Each sarcomere has a central A band made of thick myosin filament and two half I band made of thin actin filament on either side, it marked by Z line. Actin and myosin are polymerized proteins and contractibility. The active site of myosin or resting actin filament are masked by a protein troponin. Myosin head contains ATPase and has ATP binding site and active site for actin. A motor neuron carries signal to the muscle fiber which generates an action potential in it. These cause the release of Ca++ from sarcoplasmic reticulum. Ca++ activates actin which binds to the myosin head to from a cross bridge. These cross bridges pull the actin filament causing them to slide over the myosin filament and thereby causing contraction. Ca++ are then returned to sarcoplasmic reticulum which inactivate the actin. Cross bridges are broken and the muscle relax. Repeated stimulation of muscle lead to fatigue. Muscle are classified as red and white fibers based primarily on the amount of red colored myoglobin pigment in them. Bones and cartilage constitute our skeletal system. The skeletal system is divisible into axial and appendicular. Skull, vertebral column, ribs and sternum constitute the axial skeleton. Limb, bone and girdles form the appendicular skeleton. Three types of joints are formed between bones or between bone and cartilage: fibrous, cartilaginous and synovial. Synovial joints allow considerable movement and therefore play a significant role in locomotion.